Hello and welcome to Asus Golf and this week's review where I'm looking at this, the Callaway Rogue ST Triple Diamond LS driver. Now, firstly, apologies about my voice. I'm just recovering from an illness. As you know, if you've watched my channel before, I do get reviews out every Sunday, so therefore the show must go on regardless of rain, weather, illness, etc. I will say when I did do the testing of this, I was fit as a fiddle. So the numbers are fair. You know, I don't feel I can hit a golf ball probably 100 yards in a moment, let alone 250 that I need to with a driver. So there you go. So do apologies about the voice. You know, hopefully next video it will be gone and I will be 100% better. But anyway, moving on to the club. So reason why I picked this up. Firstly, the reason I got the Triple Diamond LS is because under this cover, I actually have the brand new AI Smoke Triple Diamond. And so I actually picked this up to see if, let's just take the top off it so you can see it, see if has there been any improvements over the years, or can you save yourself a bit of money and get this? So I bought it for a versus video, so that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. So do remember to hit that subscription button on the channel. But I've also picked it up with the idea of, you know, can your average swing speed golfer, you know, play this Triple Diamond, you know, tour version, extremely low spinning club that Callaway produces? You know, someone as myself, you know, I normally swing between that 95 miles per hour to up 100 miles per hour bracket. Sometimes I can get it over 100 miles per hour. Sometimes, you know, if it's a really bad swing or I'm cold, maybe under the 95. Normally I average around that 98 miles per hour. So I wanted to see if I could get decent figures with this to show that you could still potentially use this Triple Diamond. I mean, you might not want to, but perhaps you do want to. Maybe you see it out there and you like the look of it, you like the fact it's a smaller head and you want to give it a go. So that's one of the main reasons I picked it up. And also because for me, the Callaway Rogue ST is where sort of Callaway drivers were put back on the map. You know, obviously we had the Great Big Bertha Epic that came out in, I think, 2016. I've done a review on that, you know, which was great. You know, you had that jailbreak technology there. It was a really good driver. But then everything since then, like the Maverick, I think the Epic Speed, it's just been a bit blah. You know, they've been really good drivers, but there's just nothing really exciting about them. And this Rogue ST was sort of Callaway putting themselves back on the map. And then obviously in the past 2 years with the AI Smoke and the Paradigm, you know, they really have put themselves back up at that top level with your TaylorMades, with your Tylets, etc. So there you go. So that's why I wanted to pick this up. And I'm sure over the next couple of months, I'm sure I'll get my hands on maybe the Max LS, LS Max, sorry, or maybe the Rogue just the Max itself to give that a go because I think they are really good drivers. Anyway, without further ado, as what we always do with these videos, let's have a close look at this club. And then we're going to come back here, go for all the technology that's in it. And then we're going to get down to the range. I'm going to throw some figures at you and then come back here for the Asus Golf scale. All right. So a closer look at this club. So there you go, a closer look at the club. And I, you know, looking at the Maverick, wasn't a fan of that. Look-wise, Epic Speed, wasn't a fan of that. I think there's another Epic as well in there again, wasn't a massive fan of that. The Callaway Rogue, you know, really nice, smart-looking driver. You know, I like that yellow. I like the matte top as well. Head cover was nice. You know, it was a good-looking driver. And for me, you know, this being that sort of better player model, so that smaller head, I do love a smaller head. I'm not a massive fan of these big forgiving drivers that really come out the back. Even though playing off 8, I might need it myself. I definitely prefer a little that sort of more players club. I really do. I just do. It's my looks, my prefer. I prefer something smaller behind the head. Anyway, let's get into technology that is in this club. So first things first, increased speed, stability and high MOI from all new tungsten speed cartridge. So here you go, tungsten weight at the back here. Groundbreaking new tungsten speed cartridge structures are up to 20 grams lower and deeper in the driver head. This increases speed on off-centered hits and provides more forgiveness through high MOI. Can't complain about that. Then we've got the new gel brake system, which is last year they used this. When the Paradigm came out and the AI Smoke Paradigm, they actually removed this gel brake technology, which they've been speaking about years, best things in sliced bread. So I'm quite surprised they removed it, to be fair, but the idea is with the new Paradigm, they didn't need it anymore. But anyway, so this was the last year that Callaway actually used this, because this was a 2022 club. Paradigm was 2023, and the Ice Smoke was obviously 2024. So 2022, the last year that they used this gel brake technology, which they started in 2016. So this technology has lasted 8 years. Pretend you've got 8 years worth of drivers there that you can pick from. So stability and speed from gel brake speed frame. So there you go, you got it in there, and the idea is this sort of, you know, bar down here and bar down here, connecting the top to bottom. Our patented AI design gel brake speed frame provides stability in a horizontal and torsional direction. We've speed tuned the construction, shaping and positioning to deliver even more speed across the face. So there you go. Moving on, new AI design face for lower spin and increased forgiveness. As the industry leader in artificial intelligence, we've added launch and spin to ball speed in an optimized formula. This new formula is spin on the face, allowing us to add forgiveness to the driver. AI, that's all what Callaway is about. Stability and forgiveness from a uniform construction. So the titanium unibond construction provides stability and lowers the center of gravity, while our proprietary tri-axle carbon crown and sole allows us to save weight. The weight is precisely redistributed to increase forgiveness and higher launch and a slight draw bias. Even though this is on the triple diamond I'm looking at, I'm guessing that tech is more for your general Rogue. Obviously that's in here, but this is definitely built up for a more fade bias because it's that better club. And then Tour design, triple diamond head design. This low spin option for better players is the latest version of our Tour proven triple diamond shape. It's the lowest spin offering with a compact 450cc head. So there you go. And you do have, I did have a look at it, I think it's 12 gram weight at the front there, you know, bring that weight right to the front of the face, you know, to reduce that spin. Now, just going into the other options, what's quite interesting about this though is you can get two models of this, so a 9 degree and a 10.5 degree. Don't get me wrong, there are Tour versions of this kicking about on eBay secondhand markets for 8 or lower, but this is that 9 degree, and I actually had this in a 10.5 degree. And remember, with dropped on the floor. So with the adjustments from, you know, Callaway's here, you can go up by 2 degrees. So I could take this up to 12.5 degrees, and you could go down by 1 degree to take it to 9.5 degrees. Personally, I kept it at a 10.5 degrees during the testing. I normally play a 12 degree head to help me with launch. Necessarily didn't have to do that with this. It's quite an interesting thought actually at the end of the video. So yeah, shaft wise, you can get the Tensai AV Blue with standard with it, 65 and regular and stiff. You can get the white in it with stiff and extra stiff. So yeah, so all offerings from there, so regular all the way to stiff. And just a comparison shaft for you here. So, you know, you had the triple diamond ALS, which is this. So this gram at the weight was 20 grams here, the tungsten. The ST Max LS was 23 grams, ST Max 26 grams, ST Max D was 20 grams again. You had that extra weight there. All the same technology, but it's quite interesting actually, because this was 450cc now, and it's a smaller footprint. The ST Max LS, which was built for forgiveness and low spin. So launch on this was actually medium. My launch on that was lower. Spin was lowest on this, and spin is low on that. So the idea is, with this, it gets the ball easier in the air, but the spin is so low that you obviously need that ball speed to keep it. While the Max LS is sort of in the middle between that and the normal Max, where the launch is high with the Max and spin is medium. So there you go. But yeah, flight bias on this is very much neutral. Forgiveness is high, they say. We'll discuss that at the end of this video. and footprint is mid. You know, it is a smaller shape they have, which I do really like. All right, guys, there's the technology that's in this. Let's get down to range now, and let's come back here for the Asus Golf scale. All right, see you in a bit. Here I am down at the range with the club. Now, for me, with a driver, I'm looking for around 250 total yards distance on average, and anything above that's really great. Now, with this club, on average, I had a carry of 219 yards, total distance of 250 yards, ball speed 149 miles per hour, launch angle 15 degrees, and height 65 feet. So exactly where I want it. Normally with a launch angle this high, to be fair, I would expect a little bit more distance, but remember, this is the low spin bomber, you know, and I was only swinging on average 97.2 miles per hour, so you really need to be swinging probably a little bit quicker to get the main benefits out of this club. Now, the best on the day, though, however, you know, was a 229 yard carry, 256 total yards, you know, ball speed 155 miles per hour. So that one, you know, was really spot on, exactly what I'd expect from a driver. The shortest on the day was only 198 yards total carry, total distance 241 yards, ball speed 151 miles per hour. But then you could see, you know, just didn't have enough spin to keep it in the air. So definitely thoughts to have about this club. So what can I say? Some really interesting results with this, to be fair. And one thing I was surprised with was that launch, you know, 15 degrees launch there. Don't get me wrong, I was putting a little bit of a different sort of swing that I normally do with it to really help get it in the air, because I know I'm not going to have the ball speed to get this, you know, 97.2 miles per hour on average. I think you need to really be over 100 miles per hour when you're looking at a head like this, but we'll discuss that later in a second. But yeah, 250 yards, perfect. You know, and a lot of them were really good. A lot of them were over that 250 mark, you know. 255 total yards, you know, carry 227, pretty, you know, really happy with that. You know, the longest I said on the day, 229 yards, 256, really happy with that. Total distance, you know, another carry, 232, total distance of 253, so really happy with that. And ball speeds as well, above that 150 miles per hour. It's just those bad hits, because it is that sort of unforgiving beast that really brought the carry down, and probably the average down as well. You know, to get that one carry under 200 yards, you know, just shows, you know, it didn't have the spin on it, didn't have the correct launch on it, was off the centre of the face, and just didn't get that ball going at all. But overall, really happy. You know, and a lot of those shots as well, you know, I was getting the height, you know, so I was getting peak height, like 74 feet. So, you know, not doing that bad, because I was getting it up there. Obviously, with the low spin, it wasn't necessarily staying there. But I'll be very happy with those results. You know, that's pretty much exactly where my dark speed is at on average. You know, don't get me wrong, I might go down the range and get to these things a little bit further normally, but on average, that is pretty much what I am. So, happy with it. So, going into the Asus Golf scale. So, remember, we have distance, looks, price, forgiveness, and feel. I nearly forgot about feel there. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now, for me, distance, I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. Yes, it didn't destroy the 250 mark. Yes, you know, it's where I'd expect my driver to be. Yes, quite a few were over the 250 mark. You know, quite a few were over that 250 mark. It's just the bad hits that did bring it back down quite sharply, because it is unforgiving. But I know in the right hands, this thing would be an absolute monster, because it is that low spin, you know, and you can get the launch with it really well. So for a guy who's got that quicker swing speed and get that launch, can really fire this thing out. And remember, I was setting this at 10.5. You know, I could actually put this up to 12.5, and I did that. So I lofted it up to increase the spin a little bit, you know, to get the ball speed, you know, might drop down a bit, but increase the spin a little bit, because increasing loft tends to increase spin and decrease that launch, you know. And then I was getting around that sort of 260 total distance. So it is a beast, it is a monster. So yes, so 4.5 out of 5. It does exactly what it needs to do on the tin. And workability is great, as you'd expect from that sort of 450, more compact shape. You know, if you wanted to shape it, you could. So really happy with that. And I was really consistent with it. To be fair, you know, I was getting a lot of these, you could see in the video, a lot of those high sort of draw shots, which exactly is my type of shot. Just maybe didn't have quite a spin to keep it in the air that little bit further than I need. But overall, really, really happy with it, really consistent with it. Even the bad shots were sort of still the same flight. I just lost a lot of distance, which, you know, I'd expect, you know, from the longest, 256, you know, dropping, you know, 14 yards there. And with the carry, longest carry was 232 yards. You know, I've lost 34 yards to carry there, you know, on the shortest hit there, because the forgiveness just isn't there, as you'd expect from this type of head. But yes, moving on, feel, 3.5 out of 5. Happy with the feel, nothing spectacular. It's not your Mizuno or your Titleist, it feel great. Relatively tell when off hit was. It did feel quite powerful as well. But yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for me when it came down to the feel of this. Like the sound as well, you know, that carbon head doesn't sound too loud or anything like that, just a nice muted sort of punchy noise, so happy with that. Looks, I've given the looks 4 out of 5. You know, I do like the look of this Callaway Rogue, I really do. You know, just maybe you're not too massive fan of these carbon panels on the bottom of it. You know, I don't know why they just can't be black throughout the whole thing, but overall, looks wise, you know, relatively very happy with it. So yeah, 4 out of 5. So yeah, moving on to the forgiveness. Forgiveness, I've given it 2.5 out of 5. There is some forgiveness in there, but obviously seen there's a big drop off. Not necessarily with the ball speed, but it's just that spin rate. You know, if you're not manifesting that spin rate a lot, then yes, you're going to lose distance quite quickly because the ball's not going to go anywhere. So if you're on that cusp of that level of sort of, you know, near that 100 miles per hour where you really need to generate enough spin to get this ball in the air, you're going to lose that distance, you know. So there was quite a big distance drop off from not the middle of the face. Don't get me wrong, 2.5 is not bad at all, you know, and then maybe on another day I might have given it a 3, to be honest. But anyone who's looking to use this club, you know, really high, you know, speed swing player, or someone who is, you know, a really good player, you know, who's going to hit around the middle of the face all the time, plenty of forgiveness for you out there. Your average golfer, no. I think if you wanted to look for that more forgiving model and low spin, you'd look at the Max LS, because then you've got that maximum forgiveness and that low spin. You know, the triple diamond LS have always been the most unforgiving for Callaway, and that's a prime example here. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5. You know, that ball drop carry of nearly over 30 yards is not great. Not great. Now, moving on to price. So you can get this from eBay over here in the UK, ranging from about £160. I've seen up to £200, £215. So ranging about $200 to about $270. I think if you're around that £160 mark, around that $200 mark, I think it's a very good club for what it is. If you're specifically looking for something like this, you know, it really is good. Golf bidder, so second-hand market in the US, you know, £192, $240, again, not bad. And you can still pick this up brand new. So I've seen this in here in the UK, £299. Then I've seen it in Global Golf over in America, $250 plus taxes. So yeah, so that is not bad. So I've given the price 3.5 out of 5. You know, if you're looking for a maximum workability driver, you know, max low spin, still pretty good forgiveness. You know, 2.5 isn't that bad. You know, it's still got 8,000 MOI in this club, so do remember that. You know, and you've got the swing speed for it. You know, 3.5 out of 5, maybe even a 4, to be fair. You know, the price of this is good. You won't regret it. It is a lovely, lovely club. And the Rogue ST was one of the best out there when Callaway brought them out, and probably still is, even though, you know, they really have moved on with their technology, with the paradigm and the AI smoke. You might be shocked now which two technically won between these two when you see that video in a couple of weeks' time. So do remember, like I said, to hit that subscription button so you don't miss out. So overall thoughts about this Rogue ST Triple Diamond LS. Do I think your average swing players can use it? Well, I think you probably could, to be fair. I mean, you've got to be aware of the forgiveness. You know, you've got to be aware that if you don't get that spin up, it could go, you know, quite a bit shorter. If you're in summer and it rolls, then, you know, you might be using 10 yards. It's not that bad. But as I mentioned, I could loft this up by 2 degrees. I could get that spin up even higher, which I did, and you get even more distance out of it. So I think if you're an average swing player, you could use it if you wanted to. As I mentioned, you know, did increase a lot. And, you know, you're a very good player. Don't get me wrong. You need to be hitting around the middle of the face to really maximize this club. So, you know, you could be a scratch golfer who just doesn't have a quick swing speed, sorry, and then yes, you could get away with this by all means. However, obviously to really maximize an LS, you know, triple diamond club, you need to be 100 miles per hour plus in my mind, you know, swinging really fast. And then in the case you're not that good of a player, so you're swinging fast but hitting it all over the face, then I'd be looking to max LS versions that Callaway are very good at, you know, in that middle ground where they still maximize forgiveness and maximize low spin, or look at more modern, well, I wouldn't say more modern, but there's a few other options out there, low spin, which are still really good forgiveness, like Ping. You know, look at their low spin models. You know, they really are forgiving and low spin. So overall, yes, I think your average swing speed player can use it and get some good results from it. However, there are definitely better options out there that I think you would probably prefer. And this is why I'm not putting this in the bag. I've had good results with it, but I much prefer my Cobra. It's got a little bit more spin on it and gets me that little bit more distance and that little bit more forgiveness as well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and my voice hasn't annoyed you too much. Do remember, as I mentioned before, to hit that subscribe button and remember to hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on weekly Asus Golf reviews and other videos I do bring out as well. Hit the like as well if you've enjoyed this video, and do comment down below, you know, have you ever used a low spin, you know, low spin head driver? If you have, you know, what's your swing speed? You know, are you around 98 miles per hour by myself, like myself, sorry, you know, or even slower than that? And, you know, have you still managed to get some really good results for it by playing a regular shaft, you know, by increasing the spin of the club, by using a regular shaft, or by lofting it up, etc.? You know, I'd really love to know your thoughts, guys, in the comments down below. All right, guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS Golf review. See you then. Bye-bye.